is Jericho was a big city. It was only 6 acres. The whole city, 6 acres. Not the walls. In fact, let me show you how small the walls were. There. That is another wall that remained. After there, that's the type of wall. Now let's read the scriptures. Now you get the information. In fact, let's show them from research how big it was. The town encircled by the wall, housing perhaps fewer than 1,000 inhabitants, occupied about 6 acres. Now, all of a sudden, that miracle doesn't seem so big. Joshua chapter number 6. Now Jericho was straight shut up because the children of Israel, none went out and none came in. But by research, you also understand that none came in. Jericho was so fortified that none came in, none went out. It seems like some people I know that nothing really comes into your life. It's like there is no movement in whatever you are doing because there is something preventing it. It is not the wall, because now we have seen the size of the wall. No. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Let's go. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho. But Jericho's walls we know. Even an army with no spirit of God would actually break through. I don't know if you are getting this now. You see, you begin to realize what God is talking about when he devises a weapon to use against a situation. If God says an army, then we know this can actually be done by an army. But when God says, use my ark, then all of a sudden we realize the wall is not the wall. There is another wall that holds the wall. I came to break every wall that holds your wall. Every invisible wall shall be broken. Sit down. So there is always a wall that holds the wall. We do not fight, we do not war against what? Flesh and blood. But against what? Principalities. What is it telling us? That means when you see a wall that is natural, there is a spiritual wall that is holding the natural wall. So the wall you are facing might be something that others can just surmount. But as for you, there are so many sinners that went to university and passed degrees. But yours does not need a textbook. Yours requires the Spirit of God. No, you're not getting what I'm trying to say. Brothers and sisters, wars are different. What you are fighting, others are just walking through. But as my man of God says, when you see a wall and if it refuses to move, you try to push it. If it refuses to move, just walk through it. Just walk. Just go. And sometimes if it fails, reach over, brother, get in, reach over. But it cannot be done by the Spirit. Sit down. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho and the king thereof. How come God never decided to go and negotiate with the king? Jericho was such a city that if you would get in, you stay in. You can't come out. There was no communication with the outside world. Have you ever gotten in a situation that you can't tell nobody? You are the only one burning. You can't even explain to somebody, they won't understand it. You are shut in. And say, I've given into thine hand Jericho and the king thereof. Notice the Bible is not even explaining who the king was, because he's also shut in. And the mighty men of valor. That means it had an army that could crush people. And ye shall compass the city. I'm about to fly. Oh, ye men of valor. And go round about the city once. Every day. Once for 6 days. And if you notice, they were told never to communicate. There was no instruction to speak. Just march around the city with the Ark of the Covenant. March around it with the Ark of the Covenant. Don't say a word. Because there are some things that only the ark can communicate. There is a point where spirits need to communicate to spirits. That your mouth can't do nothing, but the spirit can speak to spirit. I'm talking to myself, I know. But my spirit is speaking to your spirit. Every demonic entity is hearing I wish I could talk to somebody. My shadow can say a better amen. Sit down. This shall you do for how many days? 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. That thing we sacrificed and clothed Adam with in the Garden of Eden when he fell, blow its horn. And on the 7th day, you shall canvass the city 7 times. Now the 7th day, 7 times. And the priest shall blow the trumpets. And what will happen? And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout. You know the battle is different when the battle lines are drawn and the army that you represent does not send soldiers but sends the choir team. When worship team replaces the soldiers, then you know you're not fighting a normal battle. Jericho was such a city that if you would get in, you stay in. You can't come out. There was no communication with the outside world. Have you ever gotten in a situation that you can't tell nobody? You are the only one burning. You can't even explain to somebody, they won't understand it. You are shut in. So what was the purpose of fighting Jericho? You go around Jericho, you destroy the walls, you get in, you buy the sword, you kill people, and then you go past it. I thought you wanted to occupy. That means Jericho is a system in the realm of the spirit. That even though if you think of leaving it alone, it won't leave you alone. You're not getting what I'm trying to say. You're not getting what I'm trying to say. So there are some things in your life, some people in your life, some entities in your life. If you think you won't do nothing about them, you won't fight them, you won't do nothing. Guess what? They fight you anyway. You don't even know why they don't greet you. They never come to thank you. The next day they fight you. You extend your hand like this, they just go like, they act like they don't know they all. You have met a Jericho. So your problem, you helped something you needed to destroy. I came to break every wall that holds your wall. Every invisible wall shall be broken.